episode 4 of the PP podcast with myself and, again, Sir James. I'm going to say
Sir
that every
James.
episode now.
Sir is actually my first name.
Is it? It's actually Sir James Pagan, and I've just been saying it wrong for the past fucking 13 years or whatever.
There's definitely someone who changed their name to like a title, right?
There's some cunt out there that definitely did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you were gonna change your name to have, like a title, what would you pick?
I would have. I don't know. I think I'd go like a bit Final Fantasy with it or something, and change it to like Magister or like I don't know, like Game of Thrones, like Maester, some kind of like wizard title. Oh no,
I was
Grand Wizard.
I was feeling Grand Wizard. Are you
I
sure
was
you want to be Grand Wizard?
Grand Wizard Pim. It sounds a bit KKK, but
Yeah. I was thinking like more sci-fi, something like Admiral, like some like your Admiral of the Star Trek fleet kind of
right,
kind of
right,
vibe.
right. I mean, I'd also be down with that.
But maybe that is a bit too nautical. Like just it's like nobody gets that it's like you're trying to be the captain of a spaceship. You just sound like you're captain of your dinghy out back.
Yeah, no, that.
Anyway, we
yes. Aside from nonsense.
aside from nonsense titles and films, that's what we talk about, right? What films we've seen, and occasionally video games.
Yeah, and occasionally video games as well.
I've not really been playing any story-driven games, which I think are the kind of where the most discussion is. I've been playing some very like gameplay-focused ones recently.
Same. I only have my laptop, which limits me to Game Boy Advance and SNES games. So anything. Yeah. So I've been replaying for about the millionth time Pokemon Emeralds because it's one of my favourites, and I know it, and I'll play it and have a good time. But that's not exactly story driven, to say the least.
No.
No, not the Pokemon games. So, yeah, I really wish I had like my PS4 with me, or I'll get a PS5 because I miss FIFA. Again, not story driven, but I want to play video games more.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been my flavor of the week for games has been They Are Billions because my brother had picked it back up. He's put so much time in, but he picked it back up because of the new updates and recommended it.
Yeah.
So I've revisited and put a few more hours in, and it's got a new campaign mode. Again, not really story.
Yeah.
I mean, some games do have quite a like the gameplay generates the story.
Oh yeah.
Like XCOM, which
Yeah.
is where you have these kind of you create this attachment to your soldiers and that's what the story is really.
Yeah.
Or games like Among Us, which is we were chatting earlier, but
Yeah.
these games where you generate these memorable moments with your mates because you're just online and somebody does something stupid or annoying and you just have this memory of screaming at each other.
Yeah. I mean, even FIFA, which is like there is no story, despite EA putting a story mode in, no one cares. But like, even like back in high school, we play pro clubs, which is where you go online with your friends, but you all control like one player each of the 11.
Okay.
So it's like me, Matt, and like a few others, and we were facing this other team full of like teenagers or whatever, and it's just like complete chaos. And I remember one time, I think Callum, I probably shouldn't say his name, but Big Ted, he was he was in nets or something or whatever, and I think a corner happened, and I tried to tackle the opposition player from scoring, but I accidentally tackled Callum, who was the keeper, and kicked him out of the way, and then the other opposition scored a goal. And obviously that caused like 10 minutes of chaos and drama. So it's just shit like that. Can even make a soulless game like FIFA like have story.
Yeah. It's sometimes easier with those. Like that's one of the things that makes the memory. in
Yeah.
those games. Otherwise, because like the gameplay can be really fun, but you don't remember it.
No.
You
You
know,
just
it's just how you chose to spend your time. You're probably fond of the game, but you don't have these kind of like, oh my god, I remember when this happened. And
yeah.
like I have moments in XCOM from what must be, I don't know,
Years ago,
I
right?
don't know how many years ago now, but a long time ago. And I'm just like, I have like a vivid memory of like walking into rooms and just every alien on the map turning around, and like I can see the animations playing in my mind, and
Oh god.
I can see all the rockets I was firing afterwards. Like it's like a mixture of epic moments where you save the day with a well-timed rocket, and heartbreaking moments where all the soldiers you've become so attached to are slaughtered.
Death completely ruined by the AI.
It's interesting how like there's some games like that where there's more like the gameplay and the theming of it is really set to like generate those moments. Like XCOM, I think really feels like you are in the situation the game says you're in, right? Like the
Yeah.
gameplay all supports that of there's these aliens, they out tech you, but you have these men to throw at them. And they're
Yes.
gonna die, but you can replace them for, you know,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
ever so much, which is like sometimes better themed than games that actually have like a story written for it.
I mean, absolutely, because like a lot of video game stories, air quotes, are bad, and some of them are okay, and some of them are really, really good. But I think the majority, or most of them that have come out, are not amazing, or they're just like video game standard, fun, goofy, like having a good time, like the Doom series. That game series is just about the Doom guy killing lots of demons in really fun
Yeah.
and horrific ways. And with the new ones, they've just taken that to a new level. So like when you injure an enemy, you can do like a kill and like an execution, and you get more and more points. So you have points in the actual game as well. It's not like it's just trying to get you to kill for the story. It's like no, I want more points because then I can unlock the giant fucking rocket launcher and like there's like power ups and level that hover in midair, and you don't have to physically pick them up. You just walk over them, and they're purple and shiny and sparkly. So it's just like they just don't give a
Yeah.
fuck, and that's like completely fine.
Yeah.
And then there's other games like fucking Destiny by the guys that did Halo. The first one when it came out, I was excited, and the story you had to pick something up, like an item up, or it would like pop up with something on the screen like go to bungie.net/destiny and read about this item or about this story. There was no story in the actual fucking game. You had to go on a website to read it, and
Wow.
and that fucking I do not like that game. The second one apparently is good and the DLCs are good, but I was not happy that I had to go on a fucking website to read a crap story that no one
Yeah.
liked.
Yeah, it's a weird way to approach it. You get some games that are the other way as well, like Mass Effect, for example, that
Yeah,
we both love. And the story is fantastic, the story elements, but the gameplay or the actual combat gameplay as opposed to
yeah,
the story choices, like the gameplay itself doesn't really align with the story. It's
no,
fun enough, but it's just filler. You
yeah,
know, it's basically just filler between like the story elements. It
yeah,
doesn't it, it doesn't really like support the experience, I guess, in that way.
yeah.
Um,
Because at the end of the day, you're shooting guys with your laser guns and doing cool powers, which is really fun. And I think sometimes the one thing that I always remember is at the end of Mass Effect 3, and just before you're trying to get to the portal that'll take you up to Citadel, and you've got those big like tanks, and you've got to fire the rockets at, I think it's not Sovereign, the other Harbinger maybe, the big
mm,
Reaper, and it's like you've got to hold out until it refuels so you can fire the rocket again, and you just have the gigantic like Krogan Reapers and banshees coming at you in waves and waves and waves, and you're fucking like throwing everything. And like I thought that part of the game was really really good, and it made me feel like holy fuck, this is like some Last Stand shit. Like
Yeah,
it's now or
I
never.
am. I'm Commander Shepard. I'm the badass hero.
Yeah, I've got Garrus next to me, and I've got who else? Fucking Tally or Liara, and like we're throwing everything at these cunts, and it's like it feels great. And
Yeah,
it's like that, but then there's also bits in Mass Effect 1 where you're in the fucking Mako and you land on a bloody planet to do a side quest, and it takes you forever to find it. The Mako rolls over about 1,000,000 times,
yeah,
and there's a weird difficulty spike, and you get killed. And it like just there's so many different moments in the gameplay of
yeah,
either like this is good or this is a bit naff. But overall, it's just like you said, filler.
yeah, yeah. Like I enjoy it, but it doesn't particularly enhance like my immersion in the game or set my mindset up.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
get what I mean, like I feel I'm definitely like, okay, I'm doing the gameplay now, and then okay, I'm doing the story choices now, as
yeah,
opposed to like whereas I really like to compare for like gameplay creating the story. Always like to compare XCOM 1 and XCOM 2, like
yeah,
Enemy Unknown and like the second one plus War of the Chosen, because so you go from a story in XCOM 1 where aliens are invading, you have like all of the Earth's resources,
yeah,
and you've just got to try and stop them. XCOM 2, you lost,
yeah.
the
You're
aliens are in
resistant.
control, and you're now like a small resistance cell trying to overthrow. And like everything about the gameplay sort of backs that up. You have kind of XCOM 1, you have kind of what feels like a large supply of soldiers.
Yeah,
Losing a soldier, losing a mission does not really. You don't obviously if you lose every mission you're fucked, but you
yeah.
can recover, right? It's like
You can, you can.
you can take losses, you can just like out resource them. Whereas in the second one, losing soldiers, particularly in War of the Chosen, because all your soldiers are like they have a bond mate and a friend, and that fucks
Oh,
them.
cool.
And you lose a soldier, it's real bad news, right?
Yeah,
And that's a completely a gameplay mechanic that supports the feeling because you value all your soldiers so much more, like you're a resistant movement where every man counts, as opposed to the first game where you have all the countries of the world backing
yeah.
you to stop this threat. So
I mean, the fact that I've beaten XCOM 1 and I did just out resource the aliens and fitted my guys with like the best shit possible, and then I've only played like 10 hours of XCOM 2, and I think I've restarted it 3 times because I just get fucked up.
I definitely were you just playing like vanilla XCOM 2?
Vanilla, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've played sort of because obviously each one had its own expansion. I've done all four kinds of
Yeah,
campaign because I love XCOM, but I think War of the Chosen for XCOM 2 is such a big addition. Like it's definitely because Enemy Within added on to Enemy Unknown in the first game,
yeah, of
like
course.
added some cool stuff if you're a big fan like me, but otherwise you can kind of just get the same experience playing without the expansion. So if you're not that into it, you might as well just play the first one. Whereas War of the Chosen, because it adds in all the different factions, it adds stuff like they have like these covert ops kind
Yeah,
of things you do with the factions. So there's like these other operations happening between missions. So you have a little bit more to do on the geoscape
that's cool.
and it all just kind of I feel like is optimized a bit better. Um, so yeah, definitely would recommend War of the Chosen if you fancied picking it up again, but
I mean,
hadn't quite got into it.
yeah, because I love like those kind of like turn-based square grid strategy games, like Japanese ones and Western ones, and I do love the gameplay of XCOM, like just the mechanics of it and everything. I think it's just I've become one of those people that I think I tried to replay it during lockdown, and I was like, I'm gonna try XCOM 2 again. I want to give it a real good go. And I was like 3 hours in, and then one of my fucking dudes who was like starting to get, rising up the ranks and getting some better weapons. He missed like an 85% shot to kill the alien, obviously, and then the alien did their mind control thing, and then he fucked up one of my guys, and it all went horribly wrong. And
Yeah.
obviously, the miss, it's not the game's fault. It was my fault for putting him in a situation where he had to
If he
make that
missed, he
shot.
was dead. Yeah.
So obviously, I know that, but at the time I was like, "Fuck!" And obviously I raged and quit the game and uninstalled it straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll always come back to it though because it's just a laugh and it's just fun being a space soldier against the aliens or with some aliens as well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be rage-inducing. I mean,
Yes.
because I've been playing Chimera Squad because I didn't give it enough of a chance when it came out because my old laptop could barely run it.
Okay.
But now my new one can cope, so I've been playing it a bit more. But they changed the turn system to one of these, like, you know how they have the sequential turns.
Yeah.
Usually it's like you take your turn, aliens take their turn. It's now more like I guess a lot of like Japanese games I've seen, or that I've seen anyway, do this where one character takes a turn, then another,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have like an initiative order. And I just found that so frustrating once you start losing. Because
Yeah.
in 1 and 2, if they have a strong turn, you can kind of recover it, or you can run all your men away.
Yeah. There's options.
There's there's more options. Whereas if things start going bad, in Chimera Squad, you've got one guy left. You've just then got like 5 aliens taking their turn, like while you have to sit and watch, like before your guy gets to go again.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
it definitely does feel like, um, yeah, I think maybe the frustration as well comes in from the fact that you can't lose a mission in
Oh,
Chimera
really?
Squad. Yeah, if you play on um, if you play on Iron Man,
Oh, right.
no, I can't remember which way it is. There's like a mode, but yeah, the way the story works, you can't progress past a failed mission,
Oh,
and
shit.
like
That's
it's
hardcore.
it's the change is whether they let you replay the mission if you failed it, or
Ah,
whether that's just it. You lose the mission, you've lost the whole campaign instantly.
bloody hell, man.
Um, which just, yeah, feels real bad.
That's that's some
um,
crazy shit. I've got to say.
yeah, so that's I don't tend to like things like that where I go into a mission like a couple of times I went into a mission too early. Maybe I need to fiddle with the settings and it'd let me like reload an old save
Yeah.
until I
Yeah.
get a bit better at it. But I don't tend to like going into a mission and then like I've just got to bang my head against this or give up on my whole campaign.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I get
I
that.
liked because it was quite fun in a kind of painful way in the original XCOM when like, okay, I went to this mission too early and I've lost, but now I can try and come back from it. It's like it humbles you a little bit when you were getting
Yeah.
cocky, but it doesn't ruin everything. That was kind of the a bit of a detour from me saying I haven't been playing many story-driven games into us chatting a load about games. But
That's what it's all about.
so what on a tangent? No, it's not even a tangent. On a completely different train of thought, what films have you watched this week? What have you had on?
I've not I've not watched many. I've watched obviously Terminator 1 and 2. Um,
Obviously.
obviously, for us too, not for the non-existent people listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say too much because it's it's pretty well known that they're just really good. The first one surprised me when I rewatched it. Definitely, I kind of forgot that it had all the like Kyle Reese having he obviously is like flashbacks to the future, which is a weird way of saying that and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it definitely made it feel more like high stakes. I kind of forgot that was in the movie all I could kind of remember was Arnold Schwarzenegger like on the bike or in his truck, like chasing after them, and the chase
Yeah.
music plays, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" So particularly the bit when Kyle Reese escapes from a Terminator attack in the future and gets back to base, and they've got the two German shepherds, and everyone's kind of like settling in and like recovering from the fight, and then some refugees enter, and obviously the dogs go fucking mental, and they bark at that one dude, and then someone just goes Terminator, and the Terminator turns around and just starts like mowing all these people down. That definitely like made it more emotional than I remember it being. I kind of
Mm.
just remember it being like a sort of straightforward thriller, sci-fi action kind of deal. It made it feel more tense, and obviously the fact that the fucking dogs get mowed down as well was like, oh no, not the dogs. Um, and then at the end of the movie, and Sarah Connor is preggo with John, and she's got a dog in the car with her. She's in Mexico. I was like, that makes sense. So I liked it. I thought it was a really good movie. And then the second one is big dumb action, the most explosions ever for that time, 91. Um, it's just so much fun. And you said before that you're not a fan of the new Terminator. I don't think he's great, but the bit at the end where fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's like on the what do you call those like spinny things? He's on like a giant gear, and obviously he's
Yeah.
broken up, but he's got the grenade launcher, and he's just going, and then he just pops over, and everyone ducks, and he fires the grenade launcher. And just a bit when the evil Terminator, the T, whatever, he's like split in half, and he's like screaming, and then obviously he falls backwards into the lava, and just a bit when he's like thrashing about, and he's making these really horrible like noises, and he's like shape shifting to all the previous people he kills, and obviously he dies. I just love that. I don't know why it was just like ooh, chills.
Yeah. I guess I guess like that move into kind of like an action flick. It's kind of where you have to step for it to be a franchise, right? With that kind of,
Yeah,
you can't have that tension of, oh, the Terminator's coming, he's chasing you over and over, because
yeah, yeah,
either the Terminator's just killing people and they've won, and then
yeah,
it's a bit pointless, or the Terminator keeps failing, and then you just end up not, it just, you're not tense because you've just seen this machine lose over and over again.
yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what the franchise became anyway, which is weird because after the second one, there is not a good movie that came out for that franchise. Like three
I
is
haven't watched beyond the second one.
don't three
Okay, I won't waste my time.
three's okay. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's just kind of like continuing the story. It kind of just it's just a bit nothing. And then Terminator Salvation has Christian Bale and that dude from Avatar, and it's shit. And then Terminator Genesis, I think it's called. It's got Emilia Clarke in it, and it's shit. And then you've got Terminator Dark Fate, which brought back what's her name, the original actress for Sarah Connor. Um, it's still shit. So don't fucking watch anymore. You're good. Stick with the two.
Okay,
Honestly, I can't describe to you how bad they are. Literally,
I'll just rewatch one and two instead of watching the others.
definitely. Don't do it to yourself. Yeah, I watched those two. I don't think I actually watched anything else. I'll have to pass the conversation ball to you, James, because that's the thing. That's normally I've got tons of shit to talk about, but that's me out.
Well, I suppose on the theme of follow-up films in big franchises, uh,
Yeah.
I watched Aliens 3. Um,
Uh, it's such a
that
letdown of a movie.
yeah, I'm struggling for even what to say about that film, but I think the thing that set up for me that this was not going to be good, um, was when the film opened. and they just killed off everyone we were supposed to care about from the ending of Aliens.
That's the big one that
It's just
everyone.
like,
Yeah,
it is, just, oh yeah, you know how you cared in the last film about whether people got out alive? It didn't matter.
yeah, doesn't matter.
And when you open the film like that, how can you really expect us to care who lives or dies in this film?
Yeah, uh, it is. Yeah, it is weird because I don't hate it. I just don't think it's amazing. But that part is just like it would be more interesting. I don't mind that she crash lands on like a prison colony. I think that's cool and it's a bit of world building. And Charles Dance is there, which is kind of hilarious. Um, he
Yeah,
plays Tywin in Game of Thrones, the
yeah,
sheriff.
yeah.
So I'm like, there's some bits that I'm like okay with, but overall, and particularly killing Newt and I always forget who the other person is. There's two. There's more than just Newt that's died, isn't there?
Well, there's Bishop,
Bishop. Bishop.
the android that
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of, yeah. I don't know. I didn't hate it, but by the end of it, I just kind of felt like it wasn't worth watching.
yeah,
Like, it's a bit like you were just saying with the Terminator films, like, yeah, don't bother. And I could say that about Aliens 3.
yeah,
Like, if somebody asked me, oh, I've seen Alien and Aliens, should I continue? Be like, no. That
yeah.
one doesn't give you anything extra.
It, and that's
Um,
kind of God. It's crazy how many movies are in those two franchises. Because I think we said on a pre. I think I said on a previous podcast that three is like okay slash not good. Four is like horrifically bad but really fun to watch. So you probably actually I'd say still watch four because it's just insane. It's so much fun. Um, and then you've got they rebooted it with Prometheus and Covenant, and I didn't hate Prometheus and I didn't hate Covenant, but it was a bit like James Cameron's just no, it's not James Cameron. Ridley Scott, I think, is the
because
team who like
Ridley Scott did the first one, James Cameron did the second one, David Fincher did the third one. Although Fincher,
he
like,
left
has
in.
he didn't like he doesn't really see that as his film, I don't think.
I don't think he does.
And I can
Um,
see why, because I love everything else I've seen from Fincher, but that
yeah,
film was,
no, I'm
not
with you
great.
though. Yeah, Ridley Scott did Prometheus and Covenant, and from what I can see, everyone's just giving it like 2 or 3 stars because it's just if you just watch them as like horror movies or like a sci-fi horror, they're okay. But when you have the context of like all the story and the lore and what they're trying to teach you or show you about the aliens and where they come from and like this precursor race and stuff, it's just nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. God,
Yeah, it does sound odd. Yeah, I mean, like, sorry, Alien 3,
yeah,
I didn't, I didn't hate, like you say, that there was, okay, they crash land on a prison colony, they've brought an alien with them, this kind of horror that, yeah, we're trapped on this prison island, but,
yeah,
maybe if they'd taken the whole film to to kill them all, if if it hadn't mostly happened in the crash at the start,
yeah,
if it had been that's this trilogy is Ripley's story,
yeah,
is the up and the down, and it ends sort of tragically. I could kind of get behind that, I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
but yeah, it just kind of felt because they bring her back for the next one, don't they?
Oh,
And it just
dude,
like
dude,
I can see that, like
it's
this film completely felt like the kind of film that is followed with a reboot, a redo, or
yeah.
nobody's actually dead. Like,
They literally, she literally jumps into. Is it lava again? Is it always lava in these movies that she?
no, it's like a steelworks or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's lead. No, it's a lead works, so it's
Oh, that's
molten
rough.
lead.
That's real rough. Well, obviously she's got the queen fetus, whatever, in her. So obviously she's like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself so that Wayland Yutani can't make more aliens and fuck up the galaxy, which is like that in and of itself. Don't hate that. That's okay. But obviously somehow they get some of her DNA and then they bring her back in Alien 4 Resurrection, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You've got to watch that movie, James. We have to talk about it. It's so bad.
Okay.
It's
I'll
so
watch it.
bad.
I'll watch it just so that we can shit on it one.
In fact, I'm gonna
Um,
watch that today because I've not seen that. Again, the Bills from Room was where I watched some random ass movies, and I'm gonna write this down. So this is what the noise is because it's been too long since I've watched that complete fucking train wreck of 2 hours.
yeah.
Oh, it's so bad. I'm
You
literally
know,
so excited.
I I I think if you'd have wanted Ripley in another film, like you want Ripley for a fourth film,
Yeah,
that's fine. You want to tell the story you wanted in 2 and 3, I think that's fine. Why not make it someone other than Ripley?
yeah.
Like have it be someone else who's encountered the alien before, or
This is the thing. This is the thing. They've made some really good video games within the universe that are not related so much to the movies, the first two movies. They made, well, one of them is Alien Isolation that came out a few years ago,
oh yeah, I've
and
seen
that's
them.
where you're Ripley's daughter. And I think I've probably got this wrong, but you go to see what the fuck happened to your mum or whatever, and you end up stuck on a big ship with the alien, and it's like an amazing, like tense horror game, and that's really fucking good. And they made Aliens versus Predator back in like 2011, and that's where obviously they mix all the universes. But there's a Marine campaign, and an Alien campaign, and a Predator campaign, and they're all really good. And do the multiplayer. You had three versus three multiplayer. Um,
Oh wow.
so like me and obviously the guys would be like all playing this together, and a fucking predator would jump out of nowhere and fucking laser you, and you're the alien and you can climb on walls. Like completely separate stories that were really good and did their own thing. But then at the same time, Covenant and Prometheus have very little to do with Ripley, and they're still shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird franchise. I really like it, but there's a lot of crack.
Yeah. Yeah, mixed feelings.
But yeah, I've definitely watched Alien Resurrection because that's such a laugh.
Okay, I might stick it on if I just sort of background, and then we
It's
can chat
I'd say
about it.
it's like more worth your time than Alien 3 because Alien 3's like lost potential for like what could have been the last banger in a trilogy. Because obviously like the mood's like really somber, and if Newt and Bishop, as you say, died a little bit further in or something, and the sacrifice at the end is not bad. Like you could have like a really solid conclusion to Ripley, but then they did Alien 4, and also Alien 3 is just not
Yeah,
very good. I don't know what to say.
yeah,
It's a fucking weird bunch of movies, man. It's crazy that Fincher directed it though, because now he's like a big boy that a lot of people, and I like a lot of his stuff. But that movie came out in what, like 94, 3, something like that, before he was like so well known. Um,
yeah. I mean, Fincher. I think I would have to check, but I think Fincher is like my highest rated director.
he's like
Like if you
the
looked at the average across his films,
oh cool
he's the one I rate highest.
shit. It was 92. This is like a real like first thing for him.
I mean, Fincher's films I could definitely like
Oh shit! I didn't know he did Backloggd.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, he did Gone. See, I didn't realize he'd done half these fucking movies. Gone Girl's
Yeah.
amazing. Uh,
Seven,
I've not watched Seven
which is
yet,
I
but
really
that's pretty
like.
good. Um,
The Game, I really like. Yeah, yeah. We could definitely. I mean, there's a lot to chat about there. We could definitely chat
shit.
about those films. So.
Now, oh, he did The Social Network. Damn.
And then, and then, after watching all of those different films that I quite like, I came to watch Alien 3, and the streak was broken.
To be fair, I think that's like his first movie, and he the production of that movie was like fucked. Like there was
Yeah,
like he got like little control, so he was constantly arguing with the producers and Fox or whatever. And then obviously he got fired, or he just was like, "Fuck this shit." And there's even, did you watch the director's cut, or did you just watch Alien 3?
honestly, I don't know.
Cause, yeah, because I'd seen Alien 3, but then I heard loads of like Alien 3 apologists on Reddit say that the director's cut makes it like okay, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a go. It doesn't. It adds like 15 minutes to the movie, and it's like not consequential at all. So don't know what they're chatting apart from shit.
Yeah,
So
I'd be inter- I would, if I had a what if machine, I'd be interested to see like what Fincher would do if he was actually just given, creative
yeah.
control, like presumably in most of his films. But
Oh
yeah,
well.
that we'll never know.
And we'll probably get another Alien movie in like 3 or 4 years, and it'll be
Once,
shit.
yeah, once Disney own it, and
Oh,
if they don't already,
fuck's
I don't
sake!
even know.
I think, oh, dude, I think they might do now because they bought some. Honestly, I think,
We'll get the reverse trend. It won't be a live action version of an animated classic. It'll be an animated version of a live action.
I'd be
um,
okay with a fucking animated Alien series. That'd actually be, yeah. It owns Alien and Predator. Fuck's sake! You
there we
fucking
go.
greasy bastards! Stop! Stop! Oh my god, I can't describe how much Disney suck ass. Holy shit. We've talked about how good the first two movies of the Terminator franchise are and how shit the rest of them are. And then, in a similar fashion, the Alien franchise. But everyone should still watch Alien 4 because it's just fucking nuts. So I think we're going to call it there. James, would you like to sing a little bop to our listeners?
Sing. You
Yeah,
want me
yeah.
to sing?
And we'll just call it there. Take it
The
away.
PP podcast.
I was not expecting that, and my fucking headphones just blew the fuck up.
I'm sorry to everyone using headphones.
It's still going in. Okay.
You didn't deserve that.
All right. See you all next week.
See ya.